Okay, so hello and welcome to my 2005 edition of my favourite movies from the past decade. And for 2005, there is a clear winner for me by, a good distance. It's Brick. Brick is an absolutely phenomenal movie. I think it will split a lot of people's. It did split a lot of people's opinions. It is one of those either love it or you hate it films, and not, as you can obviously tell, I loved it. It stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who was recently in 500 Days of Summer, and basically his ex-girlfriend goes missing, and he's in high school, and his ex-girlfriend goes missing, and he goes on a task of finding her and finding out what happened to her, and it's about the stuff that he encounters along the way, and it kind of spins two genres on its head. It spins film noir of like the old film noir type things, detectives and smoking cigarettes and big trench coats and talking in a weird way, and high school movies on their head, and mixes the two together in a very bold, but in my opinion, rewarding and successful move. This is just one of the best. It's not only one of the best movies of 2005, it's one of the best movies of the entire decade, and it's also one of the most original and daring movies of the decade, and really worth checking out. You may not like it, but I hope you do. That's Brick, and it's brilliant. Okay, so Thank You for Smoking, directed by Jason Reitman, who directed the 2007 film Juno, which I'm sure you've all heard of. This is a brilliant first movie from him, absolutely fantastic, one of the best comedies of the decade. Aaron Eckhart is so at home in this role. I wish he'd do more of these kind of films as opposed to his slushy romantic comedies with Jennifer Aniston. I just don't see why anybody couldn't like this. It's one of the funniest films I've ever seen. It's got that the guy from Anchorman in it who plays Champ Kind, whose name is escaping me right now. J.K. Simmons is in it as well, and Katie Holmes in a really good role for her. There's just little scenes like the one where they have like three representatives from different groups. One works for the smoking industry, cigarettes and stuff. The other one works for weapons, and the other one's alcohol. And they all sit around the table discussing whose industry kills more people a year. And it's like a point of pride. It's kind of edgy, dark stuff like that makes this comedy worth seeing. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. It's actually fantastic. It's up there with the Apatow stuff and all that kind of stuff. It's just as good as those. Just unfortunately not got as many viewers, but check it out. Okay, this is The Squid and the Whale, and it's directed by Noah Baumbach, who has worked with Wes Anderson a few times, so as you can guess, the kind of style, qualities and sensibilities of the film were probably going to appeal to me from the get-go. I can see why this film might turn off a few people, because it is kind of effectively rich people complaining about their lives. But if you're able to overlook that, what you get is a really quirky, heartfelt comedy. I personally think so, anyway. Jesse Eisenberg's fantastic, but who was recently in Zombieland, by the way. However, the main attraction here is by a mile Jeff Daniels, who is one of the most consistent actors working today. He can just deliver any role, and you believe it, and you think, "Wow, that's amazing." But he never seems to get the recognition he deserves. Which is a shame, because he's delivered some consistently solid performances throughout. Even if it's not a starring role, if it's just a supporting one, he usually elevates the film. So even if you don't like the sound of the film, the sensibilities of it, I'd check it out just for Jeff Daniels, because the performance is one of the best comedic performances of all time. But it's dramatic as well. So it's dramatic as well. A bit like Bill Murray in his later roles. This is probably my favourite. This is Saw 2, and it's probably my favourite Saw movie. I'm not too sure why. I think I just enjoyed it more. I realise it's more cliched, a bit more of a stereotypical horror, like fairly young people in a haunted house kind of thing. But personally, I just think it's absolutely fantastic. The traps are very good, especially the needle trap and stuff like that. Just freaks me out. But mainly is because I think, well, the performance is are really good by Donnie Wahlberg. I think it was really good in it, and also the twist at the end is, I think, the best of any of the film. But I personally think it's the best one. So yeah, check it out. I mean, it's gruesome and it's horrible wise, but my favourite. Okay, so here's the film that single-handedly saved Batman from certain death after Batman and Robin. Batman Begins is an absolutely fantastic comic book movie. It kind of takes him back to the detective kind of style. It's really good, really good. Liam Neeson is fantastic as the villain, but however, Christian Bale is good as Batman. I don't think he's as good as Bruce Wayne, but he's probably better as Bruce Wayne in this film than he was in The Dark Knight. But as Batman, I think he was better as Batman and Bruce Wayne in this one than he was in Dark Knight. I think The Dark Knight really belonged to Heath Ledger, obviously, Aaron Eckhart and Gary Oldman, which I think The Dark Knight belonged to personally. However, when I talk about The Dark Knight, we'll talk about this, and I'm going off a tangent. But however, this film, my favourite performance in this film is Cillian Murphy. By a mile, it's Cillian Murphy. It's such a shame how he was shafted for the second film in that tiny little cameo, because he dominated the film. He wasn't in it much, but every scene he was in, he stole, and made the Scarecrow a really interesting and layered character. And I think he should be recognised for that. This is a fantastic movie, one of the best comic book movies ever made. See it if you haven't seen it; it's brilliant. Okay, so I only recently saw this, and I recently posted a review, so I'll keep this one short. You can check the review if you want; it's fairly short anyway. Basically, why I love this movie is it's all about morality, and it's all about duality of character. Each character has their own problems and their own issues. Neither of them are good, neither of them are bad. They're all a mix of good and bad. And it's the conflict of that, and they're each searching for good. They're each searching for what's right in their own way, which makes this a really interesting film. It's beautifully shot as well, and yeah, check it out if you haven't seen it. If you're a fan of westerns and just good drama and good character study, check it out. It's really worth seeing. Okay, Grizzly Man is this documentary that follows the story of this man who, in real life, he went to live with grizzly bears for a number of years. It's a very sad movie, because you get the idea that this guy's not quite all there. He seems fairly aware of himself and aware of the situation, but not enough. You don't feel that he really realises the danger. But it's just a really well made documentary. It'll probably make you cry, it'll make you laugh as well. He's a funny bloke, and yeah, it's worth seeing. Check it out. I haven't seen it in a while. I'm gonna watch it again, I think, but it's definitely worth a look. Okay, this may surprise a few people, but I'm a big fan of war movies. That might come as a surprise because I like a lot of quirky comedies and things. They usually top my list, but war movies, a good war movie I can really enjoy. You saw Brotherhood in my 2004 video as well, and Jarhead's actually a fantastic movie. It's less about, because the main characters never really go into a battle type situation. It's less about war, it's more about the effect of war, and I think most great war movies are, like Grave of the Fireflies, Brotherhood to some extent, and especially Deer Hunter. Of the best war movies aren't just war, they're the effects of war, and this is both the effects of war and also kind of the disillusion. Like, all they do really is they spend day-to-day grind of just patrolling and walking, and because they're kind of young and they've been through video games and stuff like that, they've been led to believe what war is like, and you get to see these main characters who are dying to kill someone, they're dying to shoot something, they're dying to do what they were trained to do, and they don't get that situation, and it's what that does to them and their girlfriends and friends back home, and what they're doing and all that kind of stuff. Is absolutely fantastic. Great lead performance by Jake Gyllenhaal. Peter Sarsgaard, as always, just delivers an absolutely fantastic performance, and Jamie Foxx as the kind of drill sergeant, also weighing up the side and making a brilliant cast. It's also shot beautifully as well. There's some absolutely beautiful shots that's worth pausing the DVD, which it's just actually like photo worthy. So check it out. It's by Sam Mendes, who did American Beauty. So check it out. It's really good.